This is Charles Ibune, and this is Globe Watch. Europe's top policing agency, Europol, qualified it an unprecedented attack and called for a complex international investigation to possibly identify the culprits and for eventual punishment. We are talking about the latest cybersecurity breach, which of course affected at least 200,000 computers worldwide in at least 150 countries. The latest episode indicates to the rest of the world that online investment remains a critical element, as 2020 is projected as the year in which online transactions are expected to reach a global economic value of at least $2 trillion. Question: can we conclude that online investment remains a blank check in a failing bank, since security can never be 100% guaranteed? My guest today is a former senior technology officer at Yahoo and Apple, currently serving as the director of engineering at the world's largest professional social website networking, LinkedIn. Sarah Clatterbuck, welcome to Globe Watch.
Thank you for having me.
The shadow brokers, as they are called, have infiltrated computer systems across the world, exploiting the United States National Security Agency leaked technology called Eternal Blue, and the reaction from social sites, LinkedIn included, has been complete silence. Are you untouched at all?
I don't know to what extent we've been affected by the outbreak. I do know that the particular vulnerability has been known for several months. Many companies and organizations were able to prepare ahead of time for this type of attack by patching the vulnerability in their Windows systems.
But you know, it's the Windows system which was attacked was Microsoft, in which all of you are using.
Yes, most companies are using Microsoft software, but I think the vulnerability had been patched for about 6 months as far as I know. So perhaps firms that were a bit more up to date on keeping their systems patched were less affected than other organizations.
You quite remember that close to 7 million accounts belonging to LinkedIn were hacked back in 2012, roughly the same time you joined LinkedIn, and you were accused at the time of not sorting your clients' passwords. Are the security cracks at LinkedIn sealed for eternity today?
Can you ask the question again?
Have you succeeded to overcome the security cracks?
Yes, I think we have put in many measures relating to house security and to privacy of our customer accounts at LinkedIn subsequent to the attack, and I feel quite confident that that our users are protected today that weren't protected in earlier years.
You realize that LinkedIn has about 500 million accounts today in roughly 200 countries.
Correct.
Around the world.
Correct.
Tell me, what makes LinkedIn unique in this world where we have so many social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, eBay, Yahoo, Google+, and you can name the rest. What makes you guys special?
So I think the thing that makes LinkedIn very unique is that we are particularly trying to address the problem of economic opportunity in the world, and we are doing that by connecting the world's professionals to make them more productive and successful. And I think none of the other social networks are really aiming to solve that particular problem. And we are a network that is dedicated to professionals, to their knowledge, to their growth, and to their ability to network and connect with other professionals.
And how do you go about doing that?
So we have a number of different ways that we connect professionals. So there's the most traditional way in which professionals can just make connection requests, much like a friend request that you would make on Facebook. So you say, I know this person, I would like to connect to them, and you connect your profiles together. In addition to that, we have a way that you can message other professionals directly, and this can be professionals either that you know or maybe that you don't know yet, but you maybe know them through another connection. So you can ask your connection that you have in common to make an introduction for you to another professional that you would like to meet.
Clatterbuck, talking about the tomorrow of LinkedIn, you recently told one American journal that in the days ahead, you would like to see, quote, us create value for more users from more cultures and backgrounds across the globe, end of quotation. Can I have an exact idea of the breadth and length of your expansion policy in this digital economy space?
Yeah, so we would like to reach all of the world's professionals, and right now we have quite a good representation in the US and in Europe, but we would like to get the rest of the globe connected via our platform. So in order to address that, we need to also address the access of our platform for different cultures. So this means expansion of languages that we support on the platform. It also means providing...
Currently, how many languages are accessible to LinkedIn?
I don't know the exact count. It's around 30 languages that we're supporting today. So we'll be adding more as we add markets to the platform. And then we would also like to create products that address specific communities and also address more limited bandwidth situations. So for example, in our India market, we recently launched a product that's a mobile-first solution for developing markets where it has a much lower bandwidth requirement in order to operate the application. And we think that this would allow us to make the network useful to people on like 2G cellular networks around the world.
The quote of yours, which I just read, talks about opening up for more cultures and backgrounds across the globe.
Yes.
Do you have an identity problem? Do you think you have not succeeded to reach to other cultures and backgrounds? What do you really mean by that?
So I think what I mean by that is that we have been primarily focused in a few industries, in a few countries. And in order to welcome the rest of the globe, we need to have feature sets that are useful or maybe relevant to other markets. And then we also need to provide the platform so it's available in their languages. I think that's a start of it. I think another thing is that we have ambitions to create an economic graph. And so that means getting beyond purely the white collar professional industries and into other workforce areas where people may want to network to find opportunities. And I also think it means connecting people with opportunity beyond the boundaries of their country, maybe. So if you could imagine someone doing mining in Africa, and they would probably love to find out about an opportunity to make a better living in South America, for example. And if we can connect those folks with the opportunities that exist, then people can move freely around the globe to pursue both their professional interests and economic opportunity.
Do you understand the worry of some people who think that LinkedIn, which employs at least 9,000 people worldwide, has not succeeded to develop a better cybersecurity strategy for this development to follow in. As Director of Engineering, what are you doing back office to ensure this a virtual reality?
So do you mean like how are we working to protect users?
Of course. What is your input as Director of Engineering in the expansion or in your expansion policy?
Yeah, so I'd say I have input in my role. Primarily what my team does is we develop the libraries and frameworks that all of the teams at LinkedIn use to create web and mobile apps at LinkedIn. And so the way that I can influence that is I can provide libraries that allow for internationalization, for localization, for creating lighter weight apps for emerging markets, and for ensuring that every product that we create, it has security features built in as it's developed. So I can collaborate with our security team to make sure that all the work that my team provides helps the applications come out in a good state, both from an international
There are so many parent companies today involving. You have Facebook, which at one time made request to overtake LinkedIn as you work as a conglomerate today. The competition is going to be very stiff in this expansion policy. How are you going to manage competition? Because there are so many other actors involved. So you have Smart Chat and others. Yep. Everybody wants a space, increasing its numbers of users and whatever. What will you do to leapfrog this competition?
So I think I see competition as something that actually helps us sharpen each other. And so these companies aren't in direct competition. We all provide unique value to users, but then we can also learn from each other. So maybe there would be a feature on WhatsApp that would be useful for LinkedIn, or maybe LinkedIn would have a feature that would be useful for Facebook. And so these are all things that we can kind of learn from each other. Is
that what you are exploring today as the Director of Engineering? Because you should be leading this awful months issue of having such applications so that it will be an entire platform at one moment. Is that in the pipeline?
So I can't speak to all of the product pipeline because I'm only focused on a particular area of the products. But I think as we look to expand globally, as we look to expand into new industries, there are certainly going to be features that we will want to add that will perhaps be reminiscent of features from other platforms, or they may be things that are unique to a particular market that we would like to reach out to that we haven't yet involved.
You trade at least $3 billion at the New York Stock Exchange. This is probably a very huge multi-billion-dollar business and project. Tell me, why do you think that using LinkedIn would be more useful to an ordinary world citizen than, say, being on Facebook or Twitter or Smart Chat? What is the unique benefit?
So I think the unique benefit is that all of our members declare who they are actually, and they declare what their professional expertise is. And so if somebody is, say, an aspiring computer programmer, then they know who the other, accomplished computer programmers are on the platform, and they can use it to reach out and
do you
get
have
expertise.
the impression at the level of the headquarters of the company that you have created an undisputable employability identifiable platform where people don't doubt others? Because one of the elements of the virtual world is doubt.
I think, in all of the social platforms, I think LinkedIn's members, how they present themselves is more trusted by other members, because people don't tend to misrepresent their professional identities, because it's very easy to dispute if somebody has misrepresented themselves. And so I think we find that people's profiles are a bit more accurate as to what they've done and who they've worked with than in other social networks.
A handful of research groups, including Accenture and Oxford Economics, clearly estimate that online businesses-based transactions will amount to $2 trillion by 2020. Are there ceilings that can significantly prevent people from reaching that economic threshold? Do you identify key problems with digital economy in the world today?
I think the digital economy is the future. It is how we're all going to do business in the future. It's how most of us in the US are already doing business. You see already a decline in the traditional ways of purchasing.
Well, at least 75%, roughly, that figure of US transactions are basically online.
Yes, that includes banking, that includes shopping, that includes paying for education, paying for medical care, money spent on subscription services.
Because
for,
at least 28% of the global health system is online managed today, with about 22% of global retail, which is completely e-commerce today.
Yes, and we're already seeing, retailers that had been very, very strong over past decades, like Walmart and Target, are starting to struggle with the presence of Amazon and people being able to order absolutely anything they want anytime and receive it within 2 days. That is just a new paradigm.
You are in Cameroon today to encourage the digital economy adventure. Why would you support such an initiative? What is good in it? Because the argument everybody will tell you is that the digital world is like dropping a blank check in a failing bank. The moment hackers come, everything goes.
I think security is obviously a concern throughout the digital economy, but basically the World Bank has studied this, and essentially for every 10,000 people that you get, online, your economic growth bumps up by like a percentage point. So this is something that I think is quite compelling. The digital economy actually brings efficiency to how people work, and so they're able to divert their time and their talents to more impactful things than to things that are easily automated. And so I think that's where the digital economy really brings power, is that it can make one person be able to have the output of 2.5 non-digital people in the future.
But the security threat remains a key issue, especially in African countries. What should be done in terms of online infrastructure to overcome this phobia, which of course impedes politicians in most cases to say, look guys, we know online is good, but we have to be very, very cautious, because our systems are weak. The day there are hackers, we are completely dead, and we'll keep on quarreling and carrying the debate on and on. And the recent example they tell you is that, okay, you have seen the chaos hacking has done to US elections, so we don't want such kind of quarrelsome issues.
Well, I mean, I would say that the traditional means of doing business, probably if you look at the data, are even more rife with problems. I mean, you have, if you keep your money, you know, hidden somewhere in your house, someone can come and take it. You know, there's a lot of problems in cash-based societies with money kind of disappearing here and there.
Corruption.
Yes, corruption is one of the ways that money disappears. Theft is another way. And so I think that if you look at the data on digital transactions, even if you take all these scary incidents that have happened, it's probably much, much more likely that the transactions are going to be safe on average than a cash-based system.
Tell me how you have used your past experiences at Yahoo, at Apple, to inject a new spirit of female technological leadership at LinkedIn, which is, of course, the biggest social network in the world, providing a safe platform for job seekers and job providers worldwide.
I think maybe the unique perspective that I bring as a minority in the technology industry is that I'm really helping the company think more broadly in terms of how they reach their markets. And so I can bring that perspective from who I am to say, hey, have you thought about this feature in this different way? And I think that that's the value that having many different voices and backgrounds within the technology industry actually brings, because companies get a lot better at seeing their blind spots when they have many cultures, many genders, many different people represented at the table building the products.
Well, you are coming from the tech industry with a lot of background. You have worked with Yahoo, you have worked with Apple and many other essentially technology-based industries in the United States of America, with a soundtrack record of academics in the same domain, operating in the tech industry hub of the United States, California,
Yes.
where all the big names
Yes.
are found. Explain to me why nearly all American tech giants are almost at war with the Trump administration.
I wouldn't say that's necessarily true.
At least at the level of policy war, not the kind of full-blown war.
Yeah, so I think
There are lots of
yes,
differences.
So I think where maybe you've seen some real debate is around immigration policy, and a number of companies, provided amicus briefs to dispute the crackdown on immigration that the Trump administration was proposing, because we realize that the more people we have from a variety of places and backgrounds, the better products we build. That is the secret to our innovation, is the people that come and lend their knowledge, and without all of those people who contribute to our products, our innovation will be stifled. And so we're very interested in keeping the flow of global talent with the ability to come and visit the United States, with the ability to come and contribute to our companies.
You are a woman, and the first woman from the United States of America I am interviewing after the last presidential election. Like you just said, you belong to a minority group in the tech industry. Women, they are very, very limited. You heard Girls in Tech initiative, and even in high schools in the United States of America. You are a leader in your domain. Why do you think Hillary Clinton lost the election as a woman? Gender?
I think there were many factors. I think, not the least sort of the fake news that you brought up earlier that kind of infected our election cycle. But I do think that one thing that our society at large struggles with is sort of seeing confidence as competence. And so when you see someone like Donald Trump who is very confident, you sometimes want to say like, oh, this person is more competent. And that's actually not always the case. And in fact, a lot of times confidence is a mask for a lack of competence. And so I think that maybe is what came into play in the election, where you had somebody who was just so confident in their statements and people wanted to believe that that was the most competent candidate.
Sarah Clatterbuck, the Director of Engineering at LinkedIn, based in California, the United States of America. Thank you very much indeed for being guest on Globe Watch.
Thank you.
You're welcome.